And welcome to Rundown. Today is February 15th, and we're brought to you by the delicious High Noon. High Noon is a hard seltzer made with real vodka, real juice, and sparkling water. It's actually made with vodka and not with malt like other hard seltzers. Everybody loves a good old-fashioned High Noon. Clem, what were you just saying about it?
That was the official drink of the Casa de Clem Super Bowls. We had the watermelons, the pineapples, the black cherry, and the grapefruits. And it's like, what's your favorite? And it's just, everyone says, I don't care. They're all great. I'm personally a watermelon and a pineapple guy. Those are my top two on the shelf, but you cannot go wrong. Just like anyone on the Kansas City Chiefs. It's just, nothing but good quality people from top to bottom.
Yeah, and we're in the stream bunker right now. Say hi to Lieutenant Leals, and look at this. Stocked up.
Oh,
ready
nice.
to roll at all times. Responsibly.
You got peach there?
Of course.
You got peach, Smitty?
We got
peach is my fave.
Yeah, we're a peach guy. We're not like a Georgia peach like Big T because he's not from Tennessee. He's from Georgia. But we like our peach, and we also like our lime. It's okay. Responsibly. Of course. Shame we don't stream Game Time anymore, but what are you going to do? High Noon. It's all perfect. They now have also big cans, 700 milliliters of peach and pineapple available, bigger than these. My favorite flavor, obviously, peach. Only 100 calories, gluten-free, and no added sugar. High Noon full-time flavors are pineapple, black cherry, watermelon, grapefruit, lime, peach, mango, passionfruit, and lemon. Limited edition flavors are pear and cranberry in the tailgate pack, and kiwi, delicious, and guava in the pool pack. I didn't know what guava was until I had a guava High Noon. I didn't think it was a real fruit, but it's delicious. Find High Noons now at highnoonspirits.com or get it delivered on Drizly. Gentlemen, Clemmer, Robbie Fox, John Rick, Nick Fasoli in the booth. Got quite the topic list to talk about today. Started off with a nice little Sodgate, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you unaware, the Philadelphia Eagles lost the Super Bowl 38-35.
What?
Allegedly. But apparently there's this thing called Sodgate going around. And the grass for the Super Bowl, it took 2 years to grow. And it was obviously a disaster. Players were slipping on every side, all over the place, both sides. But it turns out that the Sodfather is a Chiefs fan who worked for the Chiefs a majority of his career. Big Cat had a great breakdown on it.
If you wanted to maybe gripe and cope and be angry at something, I may have spent a little bit of the morning doing some research. George Toma, the Sodfather, that was being just completely, walked around, hey, the Sodfather has done it. He's done every single Super Bowl. 56 Super Bowls he's been at. This was his last Super Bowl. The Sodfather, George Toma. PFT, where do you think he worked for the majority of his career?
I think he probably worked somewhere in the Midwest.
He worked for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Eagles players slipped 38% of the times on Mahomes dropbacks, and 5 times they slipped multiple times during dropbacks, compared to the Chiefs slipping 14% on Hurts's dropbacks, and they had no time where multiple players slipped at once. Eagles players had to change all the cleats multiple times, whereas Chiefs players do not. Clem, Giants fan, what do you think?
It's just such a beautiful. I don't know why I'm feeling so good right now. I don't know if it's because it's 60-degree weather outside. We're getting all the baseball stuff on our timelines, or the fact that this Super Bowl is low-key becoming like one of the most devastating Super Bowls of all time for my biggest rival fan base. Because, again, Smitty, I respect the Eagles. They're such a pain in the ass. I know you guys will be back sooner than not. The Cowboys are kind of the other team, and they just never make the Super Bowl anymore, which is great. But I'm telling you, man, between the Sodfather, Sodgate, which is an incredible name, and then obviously the holding call on Bradbury to essentially end the Super Bowl, this is almost worse than just losing the old-fashioned way to, probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest quarterback we'll ever see in Patrick Mahomes. I feel like this just has to just eat at you now. It's like if they just didn't have a Chiefs fan in charge of the turf, if they just kind of swallowed their whistles and let the boys play at the end of the game, the Eagles could be, Philadelphia would be burning right now in a good way instead of a bad way. So I kind of just love it.
Some people are holding on. Me personally, even when it happened, the holding call was like, yeah, it probably shouldn't have been called solely from an entertainment standpoint factor in which the world deserved to see Jalen Hurts drive down with 1 minute left down 3. It would have been one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time, whether he makes it or not. The world deserved to see that instead of the anticlimactic ending. I mean, I'm coming from the point of where the Eagles defense was such shit. They shouldn't have been in that position to begin with. So therefore, the hold like is just an extra cherry on top with that. I mean, the punt really fucked him up too. But with the side,
it's a giant, always a giant. Shout out Kadarius Toney. I love it,
Congrats.
love in my heart for him for the rest of his career.
Congrats for running him out of town. With the side, I thought this had some serious legs until I saw something where Andy Reid is historically, well, two things. Number one, they played there in Arizona week 1, apparently, and the sod was so shit that they knew to prepare for this time, even though it's a whole new sod, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Number two, Andy Reid is allegedly militaristic with not only Taco Tuesday, but with knowing the ground, getting your cleats ready, being prepared, having people pregame there, like scientists actually studying the field and letting these players know what cleats would be appropriate. And I don't know if Sirianni's doing that. I don't think he is. That's pretty next level advanced, like 20 years in the league move. So I'm more apt to think that's the case of why the slippage was so one-sided, along with Eagles, specifically the pass rush, are basically just blitzing. I mean, they don't blitz, but they're basically going full steam ahead and just dropping on a dime compared to the Chiefs, who kind of mix it up. I'm more to think that it was a preparation thing more than Sodman, 97 years old, giving Andy Reid and the Chiefs a little heads up, like, hey, might want to go at the 3/4 inch here.
Yeah. First of all, Sodfather is an awesome name. It's basically as good a name as you're going to have as a guy that's in charge of the turf. And to win a Super Bowl, to win a championship, it takes every member in that organization. And the equipment manager is someone that's always overlooked. But like, there's probably 1 or 2 games every single year that like are pivotal moments where your equipment guy comes through, whether you're playing in London, everyone's slipping and sliding, or like a cold game in Lambeau and you just figure out a way to, everyone gets warmer or whatever it may be. So shout out to the, I haven't seen the Chiefs equipment manager mentioned at all. I think that guy deserves like maybe an extra diamond. He gets like the Patrick Mahomes level ring. That's a little heavier than like the other people that, don't suit up every Sunday on the field.
Robbie, you think this conspiracy is valid at all?
I don't know if it's valid or not, but I want nothing more than for the Sodfather and the whole conspiracy to be true. This guy prepared the field for 56 Super Bowls. This is his final one, and he winds up preparing it for the team that he worked for his whole career. That is a story out of a movie. I want the Sodfather made. Get Francis Ford Coppola out of his grave to make it. Is he dead? Is he alive? No. He's alive, right?
Coppola.
He can make it. He can make it. I want the Sodfather to be real. I think this is a story out of Hollywood.
Can we all just thank God that this happened to the Eagles and not the Patriots? Because actually, if it did happen to the Patriots, Dave would be on the rundown for the next month and a half, and he'd be doing all his gas laws, except it would be grass laws he'd be talking about, right? Like Deflategate, people who are like newer to Barstool in the last few years don't realize that Deflategate took over not only the rundown, but this website for like a solid like 4 years in a row. Yeah. It just got over. And that was after the Patriots won a Super Bowl, no less, multiple Super Bowls. It's crazy.
And if the distortion was like 50% Eagles slippages to like 5% Chiefs, and that'd be a little bit more egregious. 38% to 14%, it's still a lot, but they're both playing on the same field. I can't chalk it up to a conspiracy with those stats, even though Robbie, like you said, would be fucking awesome to not only have an excuse, but Coppola to rise again. Apocalypse Now, Godfather, Jack. Sodfather.
And the Sodfather. Yeah, I just picture him right now smoking a cigar in his Kansas City Chiefs gear like, I pulled off the greatest heist of the century.
Yeah, Clem, you remember some Jack growing up, don't you? Robin Williams?
Most certainly. I had no idea that was Francis Ford Coppola. I was like, is he talking about a different movie? Wow, that is unbelievable. Is the Sodfather the same guy that said Great Googly Moogly back in the day? Because that's like
No, that guy was 97 30 years ago.
Yeah. That was a great commercial. All the youngs, go check it out on YouTube. Great Googly Moogly with the
Snickers,
chefs.
Right?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, it was Snickers. Yeah. Yep, that was a great. And I have to say, do you think Sirianni, is that why he was crying? He's just like, the grass is so wet, everyone's gonna slip, and there's no way to fix it. It's like, dude, just change the cleats. Everything's gonna be fine. I hate Nick Sirianni. I'm sorry. He's one of those guys you probably like if he's your guy, but as like he's doing the nodding at the Giants. Jalen Hurts is telling him to put his goddamn hand down during the Super Bowl.
Let me tell you something. You like him as a guy when he's winning. Last year, when he wasn't winning, and he wasn't doing it this aggressively, but when he was showing up in a different Iverson and Dr. J and Eric Lindros jersey after every loss. It was a lot. It was a lot. But I mean, he's allegedly a good dude. He's obviously a good coach. I mean, he is a hardo though. I mean, you can't deny that. And the Eagles lost. And the Sodfather shit, if we didn't win one 5 years ago, it would be underflaking.
Yeah.
It would be underflaking. But I mean, the Eagles lost. They had opportunities. I mean, it sucks, but it is where it is. But you get to see stuff afterwards, like Jason and Travis Kelce breaking down, crying, talking about their mom at the Super Bowl. Kelsey's Brothers podcast is a great podcast, New Heights. Talking to them about the great week the mother had, like she was on top of the world for a week.
The moment I saw Mom is when I got really emotional because, man, it was so awesome. It was
all right now.
Yeah. Oh, man. It was awesome for, she was on top of the world for a week.
She was the heavyweight champ, man.
You got to think about it. Like, that does have to be awesome. Like, Aaron Nola and Austin Nola's dad was in the stands. Austin Nola plays for the Padres. Aaron Nola pitches for the Phillies, and his dad and mom were in the stands. I mean, that as a father, Clem, I mean, that's got to be really, really fucking cool.
I can't even fathom it. I have 2 kids, and if they ever met at like the pinnacle of their careers, whatever it may be, even if it's like, I'm going to say some sort of like Barstool blogger thing, that's probably the worst case scenario if they end up following my shoes. But, anything like that. Like if they become teachers or something and they both get nominated for Teacher of the Year, you're just like proud as fucking punch. I can't imagine them doing it at the Super Bowl and like Hall of Fame players, future Hall of Famers that are, it's not like, one's the 53rd man, one's the 52nd man. It's almost crazy that we had a matchup of brothers as coaches before we had players, which still kind of blows my mind. But an awesome moment. And just like Jason said, he goes, it wasn't even like tears of sadness. It was like tears of joy. And just like seeing your mom in that situation, it has to then be cool as a kid, which is the one thing you realize once you have kids, Robbie, if you ever choose to make that mistake down the road. It is one of those things you realize everything you've done in your life and like as a kid, and then you become a parent, you're like, man, they put up with all my shit over the years. And you kind of feel bad for all the stuff you've done and the way you tortured them. And the one thing you want to do is to make them proud. So I'm sure the Kelce boys felt that. However, throw my Stephen A. Smith in. I still have a little bit of salt in me because this was my take. There was a game when Donna went to a Chiefs game and an Eagles game the same day. Was that last year or it was?
It would have to have been last season.
Last season, yeah. I still don't understand why she was taking a commercial flight with a bunch of chumps like me when she's relying on schedules. How does no one have a private airplane in that between the two Kelces?
That's true. But when Jason Kelce was drafted, it was well known that he said something along the lines of, "Oh, I'm not spending any money on anything. I'm buying sweatpants and my mom's getting a house." So he said that his parents were going to be like taking care of at least his mom. So I mean, she's taking care. Maybe she doesn't like the special treatment. You ever think about that, Glenn? Not everyone needs a private jet. I turned down a private jet after Rough and Rowdy mistakenly.
She does strike me as salt of the earth kind of mom that would say no to it, but at some point you insist as the son or the sons, the future Hall of Fame sons who have a ton of. I went through their lifetime earnings. Travis isn't making just pennies either, and I'm like, how do you just not fly your mom? Your dad can go commercial. He's probably going to talk the ear up of the guy. He's going to be proud, showing pictures of you guys like playing Pee Wee football. But get mama on the private jet. That was my one take that has kind of carried over to now. Now she's in the box. It was her, Goodell, and who was it?
Yeah.
Oh, DeMar Hamlin. That was like the wildest trio, how those three came together in that box.
And I saw that and I was like, there's no way she wants to be in that box. She definitely wants to be with the family. I'm sure maybe the father was allowed in the box, but as soon as I saw that, I was like, that's not nice. That's like Goodell wants to be next to the Kelce mom, and he
Goodell
wants that photo op.
Yeah, Goodell.
I hated that. I hated them cutting to Goodell and her. Like, she let her go sit with the fucking family on the sideline.
That's true. But
Smith, I have to ask you. I mean, Robbie won't know yet. Do you think that in her heart or in either of their hearts there was one they wanted to win more than the other because they both have rings.
Yeah.
So that makes it easy. But do you think
Yeah.
one of like deep down it was 51-49%, one kid over the other?
If I was in their situation, I probably unbiased with the teams. I'd probably be rooting for Jason because he was on the verge of retirement and he's older.
Yeah. I think
Travis is going to be back.
True.
Let's face it. He's got the greatest quarterback of all time. So I'd probably be rooting for Jason, but it's a win-win. It really is. I mean, shout out to Mrs. Kelsey for living the dream, and shout out to my parents too, who instead of watching their three sons in Super Bowls, they got to see all three of us grow up until the age of 30 without health insurance. So. Good for them for worrying for the first 30 years. All three of us turned out okay, maybe. There's cockpit audio from F-16s over Lake Huron that deepened the UFO mystery. Obviously, these objects are all over the place now outside of the Chinese balloons. Something that like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, like you would see riots in the streets over them. And now it's just like, oh, what happened on The Voice last night? The audio of the pilots questioning what they were seeing was released. Quote, I really wouldn't call it a balloon. I don't know what. I can't see it with my eyes. And quote, in the targeting pod, I can't tell if it's metallic or what, but I see lines coming down below it, but I can't see anything below it. I tried listening to the actual audio. It's like 20 minutes, very staticky, very like militaristic type of talk. But judging from these quotes, what do you boys think? Robbie?
I think you got to put some respect on Tom DeLonge's name. He was telling us for years about the existence of aliens, and people wrote him off. They said he's a crazy man. He would go off on tour and just walk off into the desert looking for aliens. Turns out he was right about this all along. Whether it's a Chinese spy balloon or an alien, I think we got to get eyes on it because the cockpit audio, like you said, they had no idea what they were looking at. But I think, like you said, it's crazy that I couldn't tell you how many balloons we've shot down over the past week. 4, 5. I don't know the number. And we're all kind of like, oh, shot down another balloon. Yeah, maybe a UFO, this one. Who knows?
I do think UFOs exist and like life out there. I do think the disclosure has been like slowly going on. But with these things, like I thought they were UFOs until he said that he can see like strings coming down below it. Like,
did you see Nope?
No, I didn't see Nope.
Well, you got to see Nope.
Did they look like jellyfish?
A little fucking bit.
Okay. All right. Then they're extraterrestrial. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Couldn't have taken us on Sunday before the coin toss. You got to take us now.
I don't know which one I want it to be more, UFOs or Chinese balloons, right? Like at this point, like it's been a hot minute since World War III was trending on Twitter. Remember that was like right before COVID hit. Like that was the big thing that January of 2020. Then obviously Kobe died, which then was like the big story. And then the world shut down. It feels like we're getting back into this shit. And I honestly, I'm not sure because China, like fuck Russia, but China just seems like that could be a real problem. And I'm like, come on, guys, why can't we all just chill the fuck out? So I kind of want it to be the green guys up there, just floating down, visiting, saying hi. But we keep shooting out their stuff. There's going to be some, Independence Day level of retribution coming our way and kill that fucking Empire State Building first, if that happens.
Well, there's two things that confuse me. Number one, if this was a terrestrial thing, if this was Russian or Chinese or fucking Slapdick Joe in his backyard creating
a YouTube prankster,
YouTube prankster,
Mr. Beast.
If this is a Mr. Beast act, the U.S. government spends more money on defense than the next like 30 countries combined. They know where it's coming from if it's made on Earth. So that makes me think that it's extraterrestrial. But then again, if you're traveling millions and millions of light years and have that technology or can create a wormhole or come from a different dimension, you have the ability not to fucking be seen or shot down in the sky. You can do whatever you want. So it's a little bit confusing, which makes me think that these aliens, they're kind of testing to see what we got, which is the best conclusion I could come down to, which is not a good conclusion for us.
Yeah, they know when to switch their cleats for the slippery grass, right? Like they're just finding out how slippery our grass is down here, and then they're going to be coming down.
Yeah, the Sodfather's probably an alien plant.
Also, I got to shout out our guy. I think it was Jerry Thorne who blogged this. He used the GIF from Star Wars. That's no moon when they're going up on the Death Star. So that was an A+ usage on the Barstool back in there.
I love
Nice.
that it's 2023 and we're genuinely laughing about an alien invasion that could just like wipe us all out.
We are aliens.
If I had a penis, would I do this?
How did they procreate? Like, how did one alien become two aliens?
And that's not gay. That's not gay. Right in the pee hole.
Because and honestly, like, what else can you do? You throw your arms up. Like, it sucks. I wish it happened
Yeah.
before I had kids, but it's like, what are you gonna do?
Honestly, at this point too, with like just the way you see with like all the videos of all the people online and the way people are, I'm like, maybe just like a quick just Independence Day is not the worst way to go out, right? Instead of
Yeah.
just like
Pretty bad.
a post-apocalyptic slow bleed. I think I'd rather just have the snap of a finger Thanos style, and then we all just turn to dust.
There is a conspiracy out there, Project Blue, not Blue Balls, and it's not Blue Book. Oh, Project
It's definitely
Blue
not
Beam.
blue balls.
No, it's definitely not
Project
that's what I
Lenny
know.
Balls. Oh yeah, I know that
Yes.
one.
Project Blue Beam, where this has been said for years that the next big worldwide catastrophe or event that's going to galvanize everyone together or just destroy everything is the elites have this UFO extraterrestrial technology that they're just going to release and either pretend like it's an actual alien invasion or like the resurrection of Christ coming back for end times. And that's going to bring the whole world together under like a new world order, which is also a possibility.
And
How
now
did
the
you get
elites-
down that rabbit hole?
Yeah, yeah. That's right.
I am currently down a lot of rabbit holes.
Okay.
You think I actually do work? My whole life is rabbit holes.
Fair enough.
How
It's actually a popular conspiracy theory.
how high are the elites? Is that like there's 10 people in the whole world? Or are we talking people that have a B next to their net worth? Or what are we? I'm talking about like, do we have any idea about that?
It's like the Squid Game elites, I picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
I mean,
That's fair.
as I said, I feel more comfortable talking about this if I didn't have kids. Because
Well, yeah.
old
You got to
Smitty
worry about the
Clem,
next generation.
well, not only that, but old Smitty and Clem and Robbie here might get a nice little concoction or a shot, and then
Yep.
they'll be taken.
I
out
know
and
Clem,
start
I
going
noticed,
after the
wouldn't say
elites.
anything. He wouldn't say anything about China. John Cena Clem over here.
I wish I have nothing but respect for our future Chinese overlords, Ken Brockton style.
All right, LeBron, and they were ant overlords, by the way.
Yes,
not
yes.
Chinese. Yes.
Well, I know.
Get your fucking Simpsons right. Sorry, that took me off. Talking about that rabbit hole. Going from alien invasion to a French soccer club, OGC Nice filed a complaint because an amateur porn was filmed in the bathroom. That's right, an amateur porn was allegedly filmed in the restroom of French soccer team OGC Nice's stadium during a game last month. Fans alerted the club of vigorous love-making noises coming from the bathroom. Video was posted on Pornhub, but it seems to be taken down. The club has filed a complaint with the police. They're hoping to locate and punish the culprits. Clem, what do you think of this Barstool employee at Hurricane O'Reilly's going down the French soccer club in the bathroom?
I'm just happy we got out of the conspiracy theories and China talk. I mean, I did some like Barstool, the heart of Barstool right here. Stories like this.
Allegedly. We don't know
allegedly.
if anything ever happened.
Allegedly. Feel like this probably happens at more French games than you would think. First of all, obviously, they're a very love-centric culture over there. The vigorous love-making noises, as our boy Reek said when he blogged this, like that's just not a quick 2 pumps and done. These people are making love, maybe trying to make a baby. I think it's a beautiful thing. However, as Riggs also said, this is also taking place in January, and I think we've all been in like sports bathrooms during a game. It's like a fog in there. Like it's like a thick air. That's not a good place to be making love. You shouldn't have your orifice out there, bumping nasties. And then the other people, that's mixing in the air with all the other smells that are going on in that room. So that is probably my biggest problem with all this. I read somewhere allegedly it could be this OnlyFans person. Got to have Glenny Balls get on the case and get to the bottom of all this alleged behavior here. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it all.
We need Detective Balls on the case.
Yeah.
I saw there in the blog, there's a screenshot from the video, and it has like subtitles where it says like, hello, are you here alone? Like my friends are about to be here. So I think it wasn't just like, hey, let's film us having sex in the bathroom. They really filmed a porn with a storyline and everything. So on that level, I respect it. They got a whole narrative in during the game. Soccer, low scoring game. At least somebody scored. Badooch, right? But I've seen all the videos. And like Clem said, when you flush a toilet and all the fucking particles come up, you see those videos. This guy's got poop dick and this girl's got poop vagina. It's disgusting. Smitty, I wanted to ask you, as a fan of scumbag fan bases and teams, how many
Robbie.
how many times do you think someone has sex? And I'm talking penis and vagina, or I guess if two dudes, we could do other sex things. How many times does that happen per Eagle season?
It's been recorded happening before, for sure. I remember blogging it a couple. Yeah, I remember blogging a couple of times. Look, I don't think there's much more of a disgusting place than growing up as someone who went to Veterans Stadium, where there was a jail underneath to prosecute swiftly, and you pissed in troughs in the bathroom. I don't think, and people just dying of brain cancer 20 years later, shout out Dutch Dalton and Tug McGraw. I don't think that there's a more disgusting place to get it on than a sports venue bathroom. Like, I think that's up there as probably the worst spot.
Yeah.
But you got to get
But it happens.
You got to get them clicks, right? Like, I'm like, obviously, if you're doing that, and if you're drunk or in the heat of the moment, whatever. But for these people, like, I think that works. I think the amateur porn industry has taken off. And you got to kind of, be creative. You got to, like, as long I honestly, I'd rather see someone having sex in a sports bathroom than a fake stepsister and stepbrother. That shit grosses me out more than just the thought of being.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
That
you got to mute that.
We love dragons, obviously, infamously, but not to the House
Yeah.
of the Dragons at that point. We do not approve of the Targaryens' way of going. This actually took me back to so I'm guessing one of them probably was holding the camera, like one of the people who were like, they didn't have
It
a
looked like
cameraman
it. It looked
going
like
as
a
the third.
POV, as the kids say. Yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking that person's the real MVP if they're jamming themselves in a stall. And this took me back, Smitty. Am I remembering this correctly? Because this came in my brain like a week ago, and I can't believe I'm on the rundown talking an amateur porn story with you. Didn't you have a very brief time of employment with a porn industry as like on a porn site back in the day?
No, that is a very, very false narrative. I was never employed by a porn website, specifically a gay porn website, as an editor. I auditioned and I went on an interview for an editor for a gay porn website. And not only did I not get the job, I had to email a week later to say, thank you again. Is there any update? And I got no response back.
Sounds like a hard job.
Yeah, it was.
Robbie's killing it today.
It was the 2010 days were rough, both for Philly sports and for Smitty. But yeah, that was a old school blog. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Got to get those health insurance, right? You got to try to get those bennies to get
I
off the insurance.
I wasn't 30 yet. I didn't have it.
Is that pre-pasta or post-pasta or during pasta?
The health insurance?
No,
like the audition for the
Oh, that was like pre-pasta. That was right when I moved back from New York the first time, and was just looking for basically anything that had a salary. Yeah, and then we started selling pasta, started on sports blog, and look at us now, like 15 years later. Fun.
Millionaire.
Yep.
Sure. Why not?
You kind of had your own run-in like that with like a software porn at the Super Bowl 5 years ago in the house, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
No.
You started one.
No. There was no dick scene and all water under the bridge. That didn't. That if people like bring that up to me, I honestly don't give a fuck about Showergate or Dickgate. Like after the first night, when I realized that my dick wasn't out there. I remember Dave did the film and I went downstairs and I was like, what was that? He's like, it was just content. I was like, okay, whatever. Like I grew up I played football in college, like college atmosphere, whatever. And then I went downstairs and Rhea and Hank were just laughing at me and just saying your dick's all over the internet. And then I went up to Dave and flipped out on him. And I remember we went to a Dave Matthews concert, shout out Brett Merriman, and we're in the car and I actually watched the video and I was still pissed, but my dick wasn't on it. And then after that, I really didn't care. The only time I talked about it is when it was brought up. like time and time and time and time again. And Dave really flipped out when Deadspin wrote an article about it, but I didn't say anything about it. I didn't care, to the point where when the Washington Post and New York Times reached out to me and Deadspin, I didn't say shit. Like, I could have said a lot of shit. I didn't say shit. And I for the record, I don't care about Dickgate or Showergate. There you go.
You held it in, you held that grudge, and you just released Dave's dick pics when they were out there.
Yeah. Another breaking news.
It was Smitty all along.
Would you say
Sure.
Dickgate was
As a Philadelphia sports fan, we're not the only ones in the world who joke.
Were you more angry about the Dickgate or the paintball zooming by your head?
Oh, paintball.
Paintball, yeah.
Yeah, you were pissed about that.
Yeah,
I mean, you could have got shot in the head.
Yeah, because I expressed my concerns earlier because I known someone who lost his vision. It's not funny. Lost his vision.
They'll shoot your eye out, literally.
Yeah.
Via paintball. And I was like, I don't know about this. And like, it'll be fine. It'll be all good. And then Brett Merriman again.
Yeah.
Right in the office. Yeah, I was angry at the time.
2-1. Woo!
That missed.
You missed, bro. That was a 400-foot.
That went through?
No way.
Oh, I think it did. I think I see it.
Hit
Right right in between the two. It didn't explode. You got to turn the air down or something.
Yo, brother, went right through it.
What is this?
These guys out here are firing the paintball gun. We're right through the screen. This close to my head.
What do you want me to say?
I mean, why don't you shut it down? Do something.
You didn't know what was going on.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling you right now.
That you almost got shot.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess that answers the question.
Just sitting at my desk, don't want to work.
Okay, Smitty. I don't know what you're mad at me for.
I'm not mad at you. I'm just telling you the situation.
Okay, the situation's duly noted. Duly noted. Don't go back to your desk.
What do you want me to do? What would you like me to do?
Just sit near the telethon side of things. That way you won't get shot.
About anything else, Clem? Anything else we would bring up to this national audience 5+ years ago?
What happened on Sunday? What did you do on Sunday? Oh, you watched the Eagles in the Super Bowl. No, that's it. I'm good now.
Yep. We're hosting a Penn VIP party at Barstool Sports. Go there. It's awesome. Final topic for the after show: German ballet director suspended for smearing dog poop on a critic's face. Mario Goki, the head of Hanover State Opera's ballet company, received a bad review from a critic. Groki confronted the critic in person during the intermission of play, threatened to ban her from the opera, and smeared a paper bag of dog poop in her face. I gotta say, I would never do something like this, but has that got to be the most gratifying thing ever to do? Like, imagine doing that to some anonymous little shit in the comment section and find out who they are and just rubbing dog shit in their face.
They did it so calmly. They were just like, you have dog shit on your face now. Deal with that.
I almost feel like I think Big Cat's one always says like an NBA player or a pro athlete should be allowed to fight one fan a year just so then it'll keep them in check. I think you should be allowed to rub dog poop on a critic, or like you said, like someone who's critical of you. Like, the internet has gone to this place now where it's so mean and stuff. Someone might pocket their mean comment to you, the mean tweet that we all get them. If they know there's a chance they'll find you and rub dog poop in your face or punch you in the face. So I guy did this. The most satisfying ending to a movie ever, like 20-something-year-old spoiler, is when Jay and Silent Bob beat the shit out of everyone who panned their movies, right? Like, I fucking love that. To see this guy do it, this German ballet director, which, I mean, the ballet industry, that shit is cutthroat. There's a lot of mean stuff being, spewed around and everything. Thing is, dog poop is better than human poop. However, in Germany, I feel like human poop that's like a thing in Germany, isn't it? The German yeast and
What?
That's like a thing. I think Jay and Silent Bob, they talk about it. I think they talk about it in the actual movie.
No, I think your Pornhub favorites went from Step Brothers real quick and Step Sisters all the way to German poop fetishes. Like, who thinks that?
Yeah, I'm sorry if we have any German watchers of the rundown. Clem was like, yeah, they love shit. They
love
shit all over each other.
Shit.
Eric Cartman, that's who it is. Eric Cartman told me so. I believe his mom started one. That's the whole basis from this. And I know I'm probably slandering the German people now, but at this point, I got the Chinese coming from my ass. I can't worry about the Germans anymore.
Yeah, I think if you slander the Germans for human shit, you could probably still find something else to slander them worse.
Do you think
Probably.
that's like their smoke screen where they're trying to like make you think of that so you don't think of all the other horrific shit in like world wars they were in? Oh, that's a good point. I like that, Smith.
Yeah, it's a spin zone. Why not? And that's the rundown after show. What do you want to do first? Want to do Pick Central or KFC?
Yeah, Pick Central. Your topic.
Pick Central, real quick. There's a little bit of drama yesterday stemming from last week when Brandon Walker went on Son of a Boy Dad and said specifically that he was bringing on a whole new cast onto Pick Central once to move to Chicago. No communication before, no real communication after until yesterday's show when we tried to hash it out publicly. I was kind of the spokesperson for that.
I'd like to talk about the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So you're not going to talk about the Super Bowl?
We talked about it yesterday on the show.
I understand that.
You can reserve the rights to replace everybody on this show with a new cast in Chicago anytime you'd like, and announce it on other shows.
I was told to be prepared for an ambush. I don't know what he's doing. He's trying to do a separate thing that I just ignored.
That's not an ambush. The ambush is you going on Son of a Boy Dad, laissez-faire, saying that everybody's getting replaced with a new Chicago cast, and we think that you're kidding. And then when people reach out to you privately, there's no resolution at all.
Looking back on it a little bit, I think we both were kind of in the wrong. He shouldn't have went publicly and said that. I also should have had a little bit more of an assumption that obviously things are going to change in Chicago. Well, my whole thing was, you don't really want to hear it that way. Like, just tell us beforehand or keep us involved. That was my main thing. A little bit of professional courtesy, human decency, but what do I know? I'm just a blockhead.
Yeah, I saw the Pick Central clip. It was heated, a little vibes of like old school Barstool, as they would say, Barstool Radio. And I saw it was on Reddit as New York versus Chicago, the feud begins. And I was like, you know what? That's a bit of a fun thing that we can go forward with. I'm not opposed to that. I think the Pick Central New York-Chicago rivalry, you compare records, you have a show one after the other, the New York Pick Central, then the Chicago. I think something like that could be worked out. It's like wrestling. There's money to be made on both sides.
Yeah, but we're all cognizant of the fact that it is Brandon's show, like it is. I commute 3 times a week up there from outside of Philly to do it, and I love doing it. But when we discuss this privately and publicly, the show doesn't exist without Brandon Walker, whether he's in Chicago, whether he's in New York. Like he is the show. Me, Mush, and Ev could do a show in New York. It's just not going to be as good as if Brandon Walker was included in it. It's just I'm okay with realizing that. Like, that's
maybe
fine.
You find
That's
a fourth that
is.
works for you, though. Like, we could experiment with this. I don't think it has to be the end of New York Pick Central. Maybe it's a new show spawns out of this. I think this is all good. I view conflict as good things in Barstool, especially we had people yelling at each other in the office the other day over Frank. That was great. I think all things are coming up New York right now.
But what usually happens when I'm involved with stuff is something occurs, and then we try to do it on our own, and then pretty much simultaneously, all the producers and cameraman and studio time are just taken away. So you can still do it.
I'm with you.
just
I
gotta have to do it in your
understand,
own
but
time,
you got to
which,
trudge through like
yeah.
Andy Dufresne through the fucking mountain of shit, and you get through at the end. Then you're in the rain, baby. You're in the rain.
Maybe the Chicago show could be called Pick Central because that's their time zone. Or you could be the Picks East. How does that sound, Smith? That's my dad joke of the day.
Nice. I like that one.
Like you said, Robbie, I was thinking wrestling, same thing. Like, it almost feels like Chicago is going to be like the NWO, like Wolfpack, where the old school NWO here. There's NWO Miami, I guess, with Dave. I don't know if there'll be a Boston office at some point as we expand. But yeah, I think I always think what's it called, like controversy or that kind of stuff. That's Barstool is built on like conflict, right? Like Dave versus whoever, Smitty, Dave versus Smitty versus Dave. I mean, that's when the things are always the best, for better or worse. Even like obviously the stuff with Rico, like there's always something, and that's when you can just see the numbers and the engagement goes through the roof. And in Brandon Walker's, now someone like that seems like a bigger deal. If it was me and I had announced something where other people were involved in the show, I probably would have texted someone and be like, hey, by the way, like this went live.
Well, that was my biggest
Yeah,
grape.
I
By
get that.
By far, that's what I was trying to get across.
Yeah,
Brandon's not a
I'm-
big text guy either. Like that's maybe
Well,
just not his
he's-
personality.
he's
like
not a big
he's
human
leave you-
guy.
He's a leave you on red guy. Yeah.
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 So, whatever.
This is also the company we work in too. I find out, and granted, I'm very much out of the circle here. I work from home a lot. I have kids. I'm kind of just out of the loop as people who are in the city every day or in HQ most of the time. I find out 90% of my shit through tweets, Reddit, or when Dave used to make his press conferences in a water cooler. It's like, oh, we're getting a radio station. That's fucking awesome. I didn't know about that.
Dave is another level. He signs the checks. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
but with the Brandon situation, once we thought he was kidding, and then he was reached out to, and like there was still no resolution, like in between that and yesterday when we were on the show. So whatever. Blackjack.
It'll get figured out.
And it's good. Oh yeah, I'm sure it'll be for the best. Final topic: KFC versus Will Compton. I wasn't at this dinner, but so I'm going to stay away from any sort of critique of Will or anybody else there who got up and left. But KFC had its 2 cents, and Will fired back. I was a little surprised how hard.
It's a funny video from the pantry. He was doing the little jerk off noises. He said, "Put Feidelberg's name in the KFC radio brand," yelling at him. And then KFC fired back, and he was like, "You guys, the fucking For the Boys guy, are telling you give Feidelberg some credit." Like, that's classic. It's another thing where I'm like, I love both sides of this. I'm just eating a popcorn on the sidelines. Like, this is amazing. And I think they're addressing it on KFC radio today. So obviously listen to that. I'm sure it's up by the time that this rundown's up. I think this is all great. I love it.
Wolf, I'm gonna be right back. No. Throw on the movie. Just run the previews. I'm gonna go to the pantry real quick. No, I promise. I'm gonna be right back. You're my Valentine. We're gonna have a morning. We're gonna have a day together. Just run the movie. I'll be right back. KFC. I feel like we both knew this is how this would end. Me, you, the pantry. Oh, I was about to speak up on Dinnergate and say blah, 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 because I basically just ran my mouth on Barstool Radio talking a whole lot of shit without knowing the context, because that's just the company man and yes man that I am. That's you jerking off Dave Portnoy. Fuck you, KFC. Yo, here you come. Oh, you water dog, you fucking mutt. Like, dude, here comes the big bad 1 minute, man. Built like a second. Oh, here he comes with all the... Brother, do all of us a favor. Let's go over here. Do all of us a favor. And I feel like I'm speaking on behalf of a lot of people out there. Shut the fuck up and put Feidelberg's name on the KFC radio brand.
Yeah, it's so much fun being involved in shit and having absolutely nothing at stake or being attached to that. Like, just kind of like we're just asking Smitty all his like personal highlights of his life. It's always just so much fun. You realize no one comes at the Basement Boys, and it's not because we're like nice guys. It's because we'll fucking kill them. We'll kill them with words, and we'll kill them in fucking real life. So no one fucks with me and Rob. You see, that's Rock the Gone Bob right there. Mm-hmm. Two just great wordsmiths there in Will and KFC, entertaining guys, and like. Again, Barstool is built on like conflict and whatever, but it's also built on Kevin is a great shit talker. I always liked it. I thought he had a hell of a battle rap back in the day with it, as it leaves my mouth. I just realized and remember how absurd this goddamn company is that Kevin Clancy had multiple diss tracks towards people, which obviously brought Tico into. Again, Kevin, like small domino, Kevin says something bad about Big Sean. Big domino is Smitty is getting heckled during the entire game 6 or 5 or whatever it was of the World Series by Tico, Texas. So just an absolute, this is when this company thrives. Hopefully we'll have more of this. Hopefully the Chicago stuff pisses everyone off. And we just have back to the good old days of angsty bloggers talking shit to each other. And those are two good guys, man. I think Will and KFC, they'll both bring some very entertaining stuff if this, prolongs and goes on for a while. So
it'll definitely be funny. That's for sure. Yeah. It'll definitely be entertaining.
It already has been. It's already kicked off to a great start.
Yeah. But going to the pantry to express anger and jerk off. That's an A+ sign. Nothing like good old fashioned KFC war. We saw it even from the guy fought segments of people and countries and against
Blindos,
anything you can
Hondos,
imagine.
anything that ends with DO. KFC fought and he kept us entertained. I love that fucking guy, man. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. It's old school Barstool. Enjoy it. Up until
we kill each other.
Up until the Penn takeover on Friday. or until we kill each other. Sure. That's a rundown. You guys got anything else?
Go
memories
subscribe to My Mom's Basement. Cheap plug, My Mom's Basement. Me and Clem are breaking down Ant-Man, Last of Us every week. I want more people subscribing, keeping the basement lights on.
Love it. Love it.
And if not, we'll just start talking gambling. Whatever you guys want us to do, we'll do. I swear to God, just keep the basements lights on.
Go Phils, Clem. Go Phils. That's the rundown.